How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super excited to chat with you. Thank you so much for doing this.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you.
I watched the film, and I kind of want to say it was wonderful, but I think that's like the wrong sort of adjective. I need something better to describe it.
Wonderful will do. Wonderful will do.
Like, the cast was great. The script was fantastic. Like, how did you find out about the script, like, to where you wanted to do the role?
It was very, very, simple. My agent, who does not represent Fran, but who knows him well, had read the script and thought, well, this might be something Martha would like, and he was right. He sent the script over to me, and I read it in one sitting, which, as I've said, is very unusual for me. Usually scripts are kind of difficult for me to read. I find them kind of tedious. I have a hard time sort of seeing what's going to happen, you know what I mean? It's difficult for me. So, but this one I finished in one sitting, and I just was really, I was really blown away, and I found it incredibly compelling, and so I wanted to meet Fran, and when I did, I was basically immediately ready to do it. I thought Fran was just instantly likable and smart, and obviously from having read the script, I knew that he had an amazing brain. And I felt that it was clear what he wanted to do. And I felt like I wanted to try and help him do it.
Like, how do you even go about preparing for this? I mean, do you prepare like you would do a play? Do you have everything memorized? Like, what sort of your process that you did to get ready for this?
Well, I did say to Fran that I thought that there would be no real way to do this movie without rehearsal. And Fran definitely agreed. The question was, would we have the money and would we have the time? And would we be able to get everyone in the same room? I envisaged a week of rehearsal around the table. But of course, that was not to be. We just didn't have the time or the ability to get everybody together. We ended up having about 2 full days and one sort of morning or one sort of afternoon. And that turned out to be kind of enough. And so we had kind of the best of both worlds. We'd gotten together in a rehearsal studio, and I think we got through the script maybe once, because we mostly talked. And we did table work, where we read and we talked, and we read and we talked, and we read and we made a couple of small, minor changes. And Fran was incredibly generous to us as actors. This was a script that he had been working on single-mindedly for at least 3 years, and a subject about which he had some very deep and feelings, and he was long interested in the subject of restorative justice, and now he had this script that he had worked painstakingly to make sure did not have a false note in it, and yet he totally gave it over to us actors in a supreme act of generosity. Of course, he had boundaries, and he knew exactly what he wanted, but he was extremely generous within those boundaries, and he gave us an enormous amount of leeway and freedom, and he trusted us. So that when we got to Idaho, having been, talking in the room and really sort of bonding, we bonded really quickly. we had this extraordinary rapport by the time we got there that really felt strangely indelible, and would really help and support us throughout the process.
You know, throughout the film, I just felt like this emptiness, like emanating from you, and I could just feel it, like pop out from the screen, like your character. Like, how do you sort of maintain that the whole shoot? Like, are you able to just like go in and out of it?
Yes.
Okay.
No, but I don't mean to be glib. I will explain myself, I promise. But we had, as I mentioned, we had this wonderful, trusting relationship that we had forged very quickly among our cast and with Fran. I mean, it was really a company of five, and we were all in Idaho. We were all on location. We were all staying in the same hotel. And we basically spent every waking moment together. And so it was, and we all have history or backgrounds in theater. So it was surprisingly comfortable and easy, because we didn't have dressing rooms to go to. You know, we had no time and no money. We were all sort of in this sort of pre-pandemic bubble together for 2 weeks, and we laughed a lot. You know, we all knew what we were there to do, and we didn't have much time in which to do it, so there wasn't any room for faffing about. You know, we didn't have time to play, or to be difficult, or to take up the air, all the oxygen in the room, you know? And so because of that, and because we took our task seriously, we could relax with one another, which is, I think, a wonderful thing that should happen on more film sets, to be honest. You know, there was not a great deal of, because we were serious, we didn't have time to be self-serious. And so it made that kind of moving between, you know, shooting and then not shooting, you know, when we would be, you know, laughing and Reed would be telling hysterical jokes and Anne would be pulling pranks on Reed. You know what I mean? It was that kind of, there was a levity to it, you know? And we all respected one another, and we all trusted one another.
And
so it made it a very almost seamless experience.
A lot of the film, you guys are like listening to one another, but like it's like this like actively listening. Like when the camera's on you, you can almost see your thoughts kind of racing through your head. I mean, I feel like it sounds easy to say, but so hard to convey. You know, I mean, do you like? What's your sort of process like? Because I'm an actor as well, and like I'll watch people on screen, and you can tell they're not like they're not listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think it's I know exactly what you're talking about, and I think it's about a few things. It's about what, as I mentioned before, our each of our histories in theater, and recognizing that you're still in it, you're still in the movie, even when you're not talking, you're still in the play when you're not talking. You know, also the script is very, very specific and very authentic and feels very true. And look, and everyone there is just a really great actor. And you want to give them what they need, and you want to be there. You want every time someone catches your eye, you want to be there for them. You know, and because of the way it's shot by Fran and by Ryan Jackson Healy, you know, and then subsequently edited by Fran, there's some wonderful stuff in there that's very brave. You know, you'll be looking at a person who's silent, in a moment of silence, as it were, and then you'll hear a person start to speak, and you'll stay on the person who's silent. And that's really brave. That tells a story, too. It's not just about it's not just about seeing who's talking when they're talking. It's about the dynamic in the room. What are people feeling in this room? What are they not saying? What do they wish they could say that they keep themselves from saying? You know, all of these things, they're very, very brave of Fran, as well as, for example, the lack of flashbacks, the lack of inserts to the photographs, for example, the lack of music. You know, he's letting the actors tell the story quite literally. And that's just an incredible thing for a director to do. It's very unusual, and it's one of the things that made all of us, I think, feel like this is why we do this. This is why we became actors, to get to do something like this. You know?
Yeah. I think I have you for another couple minutes, so my final question that I love to ask everybody is, what's been your worst audition ever?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. There have been so many. I blocked them all. You know, I blocked them all out. The second they're over, I walk away and I don't think about it again.
Oh, I wish I could do that.
It's true. Even the good ones, I just forget it. Maybe it's psychotic of me, but I literally, I block them out. I can't. It's like a trauma that I can't recall.
That you need to do like a seminar to actors on how to do that, because that would be wonderful.
Yeah. I'd be happy to. Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to. I've had so many bad auditions. Oh my gosh, forget it. Forget it.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Again, man, this film was just absolutely
pleasure.
Wonderful. I loved every minute of it. It was great.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.